Hey, Larry, thanks for joining us today. As a way of getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
Oh, goodness. Happy to be here, Brian. Larry Long Jr., CEO, Chief Energy Officer. I don't know who came up with that name, but just happy to be here. I love helping and supporting the sales community, the business community at large, and happy to be here.
And give us a little background. How'd you get into sales? Why'd you get into sales? What did you like about it?
First foray in sales, Lawns by Larry, knocking on doors in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I kept asking my parents for money. They said, "You're going to work for it." So my mom put together these little flyers and she said, "Go and knock on everyone's door and ask them, can you mow their lawn?" I said, no way, no way, mama. She said, "What's the worst they could say to you?" I said, "No." She said, "Is it really that bad?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Boy, get on out there." So I was knocking on doors. Professionally, I got my start in sales making 150 cold calls every day to accounting firms. And that 500-pound phone, ooh, it was tough. Accountants get paid for time. So trying to get their time and their attention, it was tough. And I was reading off the script. "Hello, this is Larry Long Jr. calling with profit." Click. What I learned is that when I spoke to people like people, and when I shared my story, it got me a long way. And I've been addicted ever since.
Yeah. And what were you selling to accountants?
Software. It,
Yeah.
it took the numbers off the income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flows, and it produced a written narrative. It was AI before AI. This was some 16 years ago, a company called Profit Sense. And I had a story. I was a failed business owner. My indoor baseball and softball academy had failed because we didn't know the right numbers. We knew stolen bases and batting averages and home runs. We didn't know the income statement and balance sheet. So when I shared my story with accountants and I
Yeah.
said, "Hey, how many of your small business clients eyes glaze over when you go through the financial statements?" Bingo, I guess they would say.
Yeah.
So I was able to make that connection and have some success.
And how'd you figure that out? Did somebody tell you, hey, Larry, quit reading off the script and put some personality into this and connect with them like a human being?
Tale of two halves. My manager, and I'll use air quotes, called me into his office. He said, "Larry, we need to talk." I thought I was getting a promotion. I'm going to Sizzler.
Yeah.
He said, "Larry, you made 148 calls yesterday. We expect you to make 150." He said, "If that happens again, I'm going to tell you like the Dodgers and the Red Sox told you, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you." I said, "Oh, savage." One of the other leaders, who was also a manager, James Hatfield, said, "Larry, come in here." He said, "I like you." He said, you have potential." He said, "You got to ditch the script, flip the script, rip up the script, and talk to people like you would talk to your homeboys." I said, "James, you don't know how I talk to my homeboys. That might be an HR violation." He said, "You're right, Larry. But find that happy medium and stop talking to people all stuffy. Hello, this is Larry Long." No one talks like that. He
Except
said,
for
"Just connect
salespeople.
with people like you're a real person." And lo and behold, success. Now that's not to say there weren't bumps and bruises along the way. I had one accountant in New Jersey who said, "Larry, I got something for you." I thought it was going to be a sign up. He said, "I want you to put on a pair of concrete shoes and jump off a bridge." I looked through our objection handling manual.
It
I
wasn't
couldn't
there.
find how to overcome that one. So I said, "God bless you too." And then I hung up.
Well, I think a lot of salespeople fall into this because we do what we're told and we almost want to do what we're told because then we don't have to think. Right.
I am
Robots.
robot. Yeah,
And I think the number one problem is when you act like a salesperson, you get treated like a salesperson.
that's right.
And
That's
how'd you
right.
get treated when you acted like a salesperson?
It wasn't good. It had me
Wasn't good.
scared to pick up for that next call. Ooh,
And wasn't when you let down the facade of silliness that you felt organic and natural and authentic?
Brian, people can smell BS from a mile away. They can smell it. "Hello, this is Larry." No, no, no. I don't care what you have. It could be $1 million. Just no. I'm tired of it. And there's a sea of sameness.
Yeah.
There's a sea of folks that are they're reading off the same exact script, and it's tired. And I'm hearing it from the folks that I work with now. It's so tough to break through the door, to get people's attention because of all the bad messages. And yeah, guilty as charged. I've been there before, but we certainly have an opportunity that's knocking at the door for us to make some changes.
Right, because you see what's going on out there. Is any of that cold prospecting customer client focused, or is it all about, enticing or intimidating? My product is so great, or your business is going to fail if you don't look at this. But we missed that first step, that trust, that believability. You didn't have trust or believability when you act like a salesperson.
Right.
But when you
That's
act
right.
like Larry Long, they open up.
You at least have a chance.
You have a
And you've
chance.
shared this before about people like to work with folks that they know, like, trust, and believe in. And how do you create that? I found, and Brian, I got to tell you, I got to use my fingers to add. So I'm calling on accountants. They're like, something doesn't smell right. But when I started getting into their trade journals, this was back when they had actual physical trade journals. When I started reading and hearing the lingo, when I started surrounding myself with other bean counters, I would never call them that. But now I started, I don't know if it's just osmosis or guilt by association, the power of proximity. I'm now starting to be accepted into their world, and I'm able to share stories. Hey, when I was speaking with your colleague Duncan the other day, he shared that these were some of the challenges. Now it's like, come on in, Larry, come on in.
Well, you were starting to think like they think
That's right.
because
Imagine that.
you had no accounting background. So going from no accounting background to some accounting background is not easy, nor is it fun. It probably wasn't what you watch on TV when you go home at night, right? Balance sheet dot TV. Nobody does that, or at least nobody I know does that. And a lot of people don't want to do all that work. But what do they want to talk about? You? No, them, themselves, their business, what they're going after.
So true. And so
Yeah,
often we miss that. I call them me monsters. I'm the greatest. Our company is the greatest. Our product is the great. So what? Who cares?
no one cares.
Other than your mom and maybe your dog, maybe no one else cares. They care about themselves. They care about their problems, their issues, and they want to know: can you help? Can I trust you and believe that you can help? And if you can't, in the words of the great philosopher, sweet Georgia Brown, ain't nobody got time for that.
But I bet you didn't have to do the 150 calls a day either.
Well, at that company, I did because they did not play.
Uh,
149 calls was not enough, and it was a lot of smiling and dialing. I learned a lot through that process, and I won't say that cold calls are easy, but I can tell you I'm not scared to pick up that 500-pound phone, reach out, and have a conversation with someone else.
okay. Let's talk about the inner game because you've clearly got that mastered.
I wouldn't say mastered. It's a work in progress, Brian.
Okay. Giving you credit. How did that evolve? Were you always like this? Did you always have a little bit extra energy?
Was born this way. I was born a
Were you?
CEO,
Okay.
chief energy officer, but it also takes work. And I attribute my parents, just watching them. My father grew up in Baltimore City,
Mhm.
surrounded by crime, violence, and it would have been easy for him to just give up. But instead, he said, you know what? I'm going to find it inside of me, and I'm going to find strategic mentors that will help me get to where I want to get to. He ran track at University of Maryland, first one in his family to go to college, first one in his family to graduate high school. So that was a great example there. And some people are glass half empty, some people are glass half full. My father was a glass 100% full. And that attitude he shared to me. And I
Yeah.
played baseball at University of Maryland. And in the game of baseball, if you're a 70% failure, meaning you're getting beat up 7 out of 10 times, you're striking out 7 out of 10 times, you're going to the Hall of Fame. Come on now. Sales is very similar. Life is very similar.
Yeah.
So it's not about what happens to you, but what's your reaction and response? what's your learning and what adjustments do you make from getting knocked in the head? Next time you might want to duck if
Well,
you're
I think a lot of people today aren't taking that half, the lesson. The
they're
answer
not
seems to be AI and do more.
they're not taking the lesson and they're not taking action. So we know that we're supposed to take action, but I see a big gap between knowing and the doing, and then people are befuddled. Why am I not having success? It doesn't take a genius to know you're not doing the things that successful people are doing on a consistent basis. Hey, Larry, why don't you have six pack abs? Because I eat a lot of Bojangles fried chicken and I don't go to the gym. There's no mystery.
Right. You know what you need to do to get six pack abs. We all do, don't we?
That's right. That's right. I see you out there walking, Brian.
Yeah,
I
I
see
know
you
what it
walking the
takes.
walk.
Everybody else is like, well, my heredity and my genes are different. They like to hold on to that.
That's right.
No, no, no. Exercise and diet.
Very
Doesn't
simple
feel good
formula
though,
right
does it?
there. Very, very simple. The foundation, the fundamentals. So many folks are missing that great base. It's tough to build when your base is on shaky ground. It's almost
Well,
impossible.
because I think a lot that people look at just the 150 calls. They think the 150 equals success. Well, part of that is true, but it's the other part that Larry got. He learned
Right.
or he was told, quit acting like a salesperson and let the inner person come out. Not the full inner person, but kind of the appropriate inner person.
We don't want no one wants that, Brian. Well, that's definitely an HR
This
violation.
is a rated R podcast.
Oh goodness.
And what did you do after the accounting software?
Oh goodness, I've had quite the journey. I left the accounting software and went to healthcare software, patient portals, selling to doctors' practices. Yeah, it was super exciting. It's an interesting world. Practice administrators, office managers, trying to get them at the time to move off of paper charts
Yeah.
into the electronic. It was well, why? We love our paper. And it's funny looking back at it, all of the friction that we got, but educating and really painting the picture of what life could look like, not just for them, but their physicians and most importantly, for their patients. Now,
Yeah.
almost everything is digital. It's like paper,
Well,
fax machines.
you'd be surprised. There's still a lot of stuff. Now, there you were really selling change, right? That
Yeah.
was your competitor.
Yes. The case for
Stick with
change.
paper.
That's right. Apathy. We've done it this way all the time. Brian, I spoke at the International Cemetery Cremation and Funeral Association, and I
Oh,
spoke
okay. Quit
to
bragging.
no, I killed him too soon. But someone told me
It's like a
that,
funeral in here.
oh goodness, someone shared with me that some of these funeral homes still use fax machines, and it's a terrible experience. They said, hey, we get people at their lowest. When you lose a loved one, you're at probably your lowest, and we make them sit through and fill out forms, and we go and we have to run off copies. Why don't we go digital to make the experience somewhat
Seamless.
easier for the user, for
Yeah.
the client and the customer? But it's tough to break out of that mentality. When folks are stuck, sometimes it's tough to get them to break out and understand there's a better way.
Yeah. And what do you see the best salespeople doing better than the B players? What are the very best doing today?
It's consistency, it's discipline, it's focus, as well as it's adapting to change. What I think they say, what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah.
What worked last year or what worked last month might not work this month. But what I see is that they're always working on their skills, on their knowledge, and they're not afraid to put themselves in uncomfortable situations, whether it's asking the uncomfortable, the tough questions that most people shy away from, because we know sales professionals like to look through those rose colored glasses. Everything is awesome, but we know that it's not. We
Yeah.
have to ask the tough questions if we want to have success. Sometimes we have to ask folks for mentorship and help when we might want to have the ego. We don't want to ask for help, but the best sales professionals I see, they're doing the little things consistently, which are really the big things.
Yeah, and I think they're forgetting the most important activity. It's thinking. It's really analyzing your game
That's right.
because you need that epiphany that you had.
Yeah. The light bulb goes off.
And all of a sudden it went from drudgery to enjoyment little bit better.
A little. No, it was fun, and it's enjoying the process. So often we get caught up on the end result. Well,
Right.
let's go ahead and look at the process that you went through. What did you learn? Who were you able to help? Did you share those learnings with others? There's some successful people out there that are selfish. I've worked with some me monsters that crush goals. But what I found is that to crush goals consistently in the long run, you've got to have a special, really be a special person because it's going to catch up to you at some point. I don't know when, but at some point, if you're all about you, a me monster, that's going to catch up. Word gets around and something just doesn't smell right.
Well, it's hard to hide, right? Because, well, I mean, we all know that salesperson. I used to say, you're at a trade show, they're talking to you, and then somebody more valuable walks by. You're invisible. And you're like, okay,
And
do
they
you
think
have
they're slick. They think they're slick because they're talking to you, but they're looking. One
somebody
second.
better? Yeah.
That's right.
And what were some of the other great lessons you learned along the way that people could learn from you?
The power of relationships. And there's a saying, it's not what you know. The traditional saying says it's who you know. Well, I'm gonna flip that. I'm gonna flip it and reverse it and say it's not what you know and it's not even who you know. It's who knows you, who trusts you, who believes in you that really makes things happen. Very, very rarely do we see folks stick with the same organization for 20 plus years. So
Yeah.
you have folks that are moving. Generally, it's those relationships. And I see folks, I talk to folks that are resistant to leveraging LinkedIn. Oh, I only need to go on LinkedIn when I'm looking for a job. Well, if you want shade today, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Right.
The second best time is right now. Why are you not telling your story? Why are you not building your brand? Why are you not making connections and helping people when you don't need anything? When you add, I call it that relationship bank, when you add
Yes.
deposits and more deposits, now you can actually make a withdrawal without being overdrawn. When I had my business, Brian, I went to the bank, Bank of America. I said, I need to take out $500. They laughed at me. They said, Larry, you haven't made enough deposits. You don't have $500. So often we do the same thing with relationships.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get survey says, nah, I only hear from you every 6 years when you need something from me. That's not going to work anymore. So the power of relationships and the power of doing something to foster, to strengthen, to grow
Yeah.
those relationships for me is critical. And I know folks are saying, that's good, Larry, but how? I'm going to give folks something they can do right now. And I'll almost guarantee that not more than 10% will actually do it. It's the 3-minute challenge. Every day, you've got 3 minutes. Put it in your calendar. Find one person in your Rolodex. I know some folks are like, is that the fancy watch? Nah, that's a Rolex. But find one person in your contact list in your phone. And all I want you to do is surprise and delight them. Brian, if you were my surprise and delight, I'm going to Google. I'm going to find a Northeastern Husky and I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to say, Thankful Thursday, Brian. Woo, woo, woo. I'm not asking you for anything. Like, I was a husky. I'm just trying to make you feel good because people will forget what you said. Talk is cheap. They'll even forget what you did. They'll never forget how you made them feel.
It,
3-minute challenge.
right. Because everyone's got the law of reciprocation backwards. Everyone's very happy to give after they've taken.
That's right. That's
Talk
right.
to any salesperson. Oh, I'd be happy to spend more time with them once they're qualified. Well, they don't get qualified unless you give something to them, help them, connect with them. And if you've ever helped a prospect, They help back. That's the law of reciprocity. You have to give first. But that doesn't feel intuitive, does it? It's counterintuitive.
Brian, you make it sound so simple and so easy. And it is if folks actually take action. We know this, but so often we write it down and we know it up here, but our actions speak
Doesn't
so
feel
loud.
right,
I
right?
can't hear what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't do it.
Because we know the other feel. Have you ever gotten a Christmas present from somebody that you didn't get a present for? How's that feel?
Ooh,
I
not
mean,
good.
you're going in and wrapping anything in the kitchen to get credit, right?
I go, Mike, for you.
And but the other person doesn't care that they feel good about giving it to you.
That's right.
And I think that does work. If you do it just, I mean, that's what, 20 a month, 240 a year.
Right. So simple.
It's a
So
connection
simple.
because I think people look at prospecting wrong. They should look at it closer to networking.
That's right.
Right. I
That's
want
right. And
loose
helping each other.
connections that I help that occasionally will help me back. If they don't, that's perfectly fine. I'm cool with that.
That's right. That's right. And that takes a special person
It does.
to actually believe it and actually live in it. It takes a really special person.
Because cold outreach is so different than getting warm inbound. But we treat cold outbound like warm inbound. We want to qualify them before they even pick up the phone. That's fine. If they're not qualified, don't call. That's okay. Why would you call on somebody who's not qualified? Doesn't
That's
have money, is not big enough, not a match. I think the other thing is everyone feels like they have to sell everybody. We don't. How many deals did you need to crush your goal?
back then it was 4 deals a month.
That's it. Four.
4 deals a month.
One a week. You didn't need 40 or 400. And everybody likes to feel comfortable with this fake pipeline that they build. You see on LinkedIn, we go, oh, we generated 50 million in pipeline this month. Like, what the hell is that? How much of that will close? Are they the four or are they the 40? How
It's
do you
funny.
sustain your energy though? I mean, because that's kind of your big thing.
It is. It's intentional, Brian, and it's a choice. We all when our feet hit the ground, we all have the opportunity to make a choice. Am I going to make this a great day, and for today a thankful Thursday, or am I going to go the other way and kind of live without intentionality, without purpose, without meaning, without direction? I am intentional about where I'm going, who I'm going with, who I serve, what I do. And does it always go my way? No. But I realized that strikeouts are a part of life. That was chapter 2 of my book. I wrote my book for me. I needed it. Hey, it's okay. Put yourself out there. Be okay with striking out. You'll get another at bat. You'll have a story to tell. You'll be able to share that lesson with someone else. And who knows, you can try it again and build off of it. So every
And
day it's with intention. I'm going to make it a great day. It's my choice.
and I'm sure you're not like this all the time that you have a down day or a down hour or a down moment. How do you get yourself back?
Yeah, I'm human. I am human. For me, it's my family. My wife is amazing. My kids always bring a smile to my face. My kids are wild. You think I'm wild? They're wild. They get it from their mama. But essentially, it's my family as
Her
well as
fault.
for me. It's music. I love music. I love comedy. I try to surround myself with things, whether it's images, whether it's in my ear, going outside in nature. I love taking 4 hour nature walks, AKA golf. I don't know if you did your research, but Tiger Woods is my cousin, Brian, long
Oh,
lost
we all know
cousin.
that.
Yeah, I mean, they call me Larry Hit It in the Woods, but it's a bad dad joke, but yeah, life hits me. It's a 4 letter word for me, just like everyone else. It's
Yeah.
just I realize that I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get knocked down, and it's my choice on how I handle it. And I just try my best. I don't know if you've ever done P90X, but Tony Horton says try your best and forget the rest.
And do you have a morning habits that kind of get you in this state?
I do.
Starbucks?
I do. I'm strong in my faith. I try to be strong in my faith. So the power of prayer, the power of reflection, the power of gratitude to start off my day.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I am human. I hop on my phone. I play a little bit of solitaire. I like playing games on my phone. It might not really stimulate the brain the best, but I've got a 14-year-old son, a 10-year-old daughter. When they're in school, I'm the carpool dad. That's my intention. That gets my day started off right. I'm more of an afternoon exerciser. So my wife and I go to the gym generally after she gets off of work. And yeah, we're certainly habits of routine, but also able to flex a little bit. I like to shake things up and
Yeah.
kind of take things as they go.
And what advice would you have for somebody's 25 out there who's doing the 150 calls a day and it's not getting the 4 deals a week?
Hang in there.
Yeah.
Hang in there. That's my encouragement. Hang in there. Learn as much as you can. Meet as many new people as you can, and then repeat and stick with it. And eventually, what's meant to be will be. I encourage you to think about, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you making? I know why I was making 150 calls. I had a failed business and the rent was due. So you got
Yeah,
to
you had
do what you got to
motivation.
do. But while I was there, I had the territory, North Carolina and South Carolina. I picked up Tennessee, picked up Florida. I said, hey, I want to call more. I picked up Alaska, picked up Hawaii. I was there late. I made an impression with the CEO, Mr. Brian Hamilton, and opportunities opened up for me. Everyone talks about working hard. That sounds good. That's a good soundbite right there. But I'm from Missouri, the show me state. Show me what you're working with. Are you really working hard, or are you just yapping your mouth? Work hard, stick with it, and learn.
And I didn't hear any deflection from you, any victimization, or if I only had this opportunity, someone else's fault.
We control. We control. I truly believe that we control where we're going. And there's certain things that are out of our control, but controlling the controllables. Mr. JB Sales, John Barrows, he has this acronym called E, and I love it. I actually love it so much. I've got his card, his challenge coin here. We can control our emotions. We can control our actions and our attitude, and we can control how we treat other people. I
Right.
love that. Brian, real quick, I do want to share. There's a quote that I ask myself every morning when I look in the mirror. First, I say, where's your hair going, Larry?
Would that-
You're going bald. But Martin Luther King Jr. said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing to help others? If I don't have a good answer to that at the end of my day, shame on me. I'm not going to shame anyone else, but shame on me. That was a day wasted. If I have an answer and answers of what I did to help others, that's a fulfilled life right there. And that's a shift of perspective. I mean, I've got obligations. I've got a family that I've got to feed and put clothes on their back and make sure that we have a roof over our head. And I have an opportunity knocking at my door to help as many people each and every day. And what I found, the more people you help, it comes back to you in spades. 20x. I would say 10x, but there's another guy who talks
Another
about
guy's got that one.
20x.
Cool. And where can people go to connect and follow you?
Please follow me on LinkedIn. Find my website, Larry Long Jr., jr.com. I would love the opportunity to serve. And just if I can help you, please do not hesitate to let me know.